What's good YouTube? This is Rebels Pro Tips, and today we're going to talk about how to get from Diamond 4 to Diamond 3. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you can get notified for any future videos like this. And if you learned anything in this video today, pretend your thumb is an arc star and stick that like button. Let's get started with tip number 1. Building a strong game sense is essential for Diamond lobbies. So if you've made it to Diamond 4, you should be able to recognize at this point that everyone you're up against is a good shooter and has good movement. A strong game sense is what will separate a good player from a great player. This requires a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of invested time into the game to learn the best suitable playstyle for you. This will most likely result in a lot of failure before it will result in success. To start building a strong game sense, you'll have to start with your drop. How you drop in is crucial in Diamond lobbies as it provides a lot of knowledge of how the game will be played out. As the dropship flies across the map at the beginning of each match, you'll need to be taking a mental inventory of a few things. How many squads are on the dropship? Where did the enemies drop on the map? And how many squads landed at your POI? All of these things are extremely important for a safe and controlled drop. While hot dropping can be fun and score you fast and potentially high KP, it has a risk of no base knowledge off drop. But as they say, no risk, no reward. Confidence can pay off, but at your own risk. After you drop in and collect your loot, your game sense should be focused on fights or rotations. This means you either take the fight that landed at your POI, or you rotate to another possible early fight or location to hold for positioning. This mostly depends on your playstyle though, as you may be a more passive player who scans beacons and waits in the later rings to take positional fights, and that's fine. Whatever works for you is your choice. If you like to take the more aggressive route of early KP games, then tip number 2 will benefit you more than anyone. This ties into number 1 as it does require a good game sense, but it deserves its own tip because it's important all on its own no matter what play style you have. With the meta so heavily influenced by third parties as a way to gain such easy RP, you will need to know a few things to help you safely interact in a fight and avoid a third or fourth squad potentially killing you. If you have the option to hold high ground, do it. Don't fight for too long, and know your way out. Now I know this sounds pretty basic in most of your eyes, and that's because it is. But sometimes we can get so caught up in trying to work out all of the possible variables that occur in a fight that we forget the simplest techniques that give you the edge you need to get over on another squad. Holding high ground is one of these basics. It forces the enemy to fight at a disadvantage not only in vision but in positioning as well. It is much harder to push someone holding a strong base of height than it is to push around an object or building. It also gives you the range to know your surroundings in case of a third party. This will cause the enemy to either grow impatient or fearful that they may lose the fight. They may rotate, leaving them exposed, giving you the opportunity to push and collect your KP, or leave and rotate away entirely if necessary. Either way, holding height and not rushing the fight is always the safer choice. Don't overextend yourself in the fight as well. Rushing in to finish kills can be beneficial in a lot of situations to end fights quickly, but it can backfire if the enemy team has a good hold on their position as well. Focus on rotating with your team to squeeze or pinch the enemy and finish them off. If you can, always kill your downed enemies to avoid revives and secure your KP. Before you even enter the fight, it will be advantageous to know how to exit it if necessary. This is important not only for third parties, but also in case the fight doesn't go your way. One or both of your teammates may get knocked, requiring you to have safe passage away from the enemy to heal and focus your next move. Whether it's obtaining your teammates' banners or rotating completely away to save yourself from losing that dreaded 48 RP, do what you have to do. The last and most important tip I can give you is play your position to the best of your ability. There is no worse feeling than getting your 3 or 4 KP over the course of a match and then struggling to find a strong position in the end ring, ultimately resulting in the death of you or your entire squad in most situations. To avoid this problem as much as possible, there are a few things you can do. Use a tracking legend, always rotate to the next ring as early as possible, and assert presence and control over a location in the ring with pressure and damage. While the first point really doesn't need any explanation, I will say that landing at a POI with the survey beacon off drop and scanning early to see next ring will give you a slight edge over most of the lobby. There will be squads that won't have a tracking legend on their team, and this will give you opportunities to catch enemy teams out of position. Rotating to the next ring early holds the benefit of gaining a good endgame position early and effectively. Being that end ring is the most important part of every Diamond timing game, the safest way to ensure your success is to be there early. Once you've found your position for endgame, you'll want to begin asserting your presence over the area by firing shots at enemy teams that are also in position. This action is called grieving, and it forces your enemies to reposition accordingly based off of your shots. An added bonus is that it'll waste your enemies' heals, which will slow their rate of play. If you see two teams fighting in end-ring, make callouts to certain legends with pings and shoot the same targets. This not only maximizes your chances of KP, but it also gives your team a chance to acquire it too. Well guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope these tips help you guys get some RP. If there's anything that I didn't cover today, please feel free to leave a comment under the video with what you would like me to discuss. I'd be happy to continue making these videos for you guys. And until next time, my name is Rebel, these are my pro tips, and I'm out.